2017 is turning out to be a terrific year for flagship Android phones, and we're only halfway through the year. We have the top tier A-list flagships that a lot of people think are top tier. The LG G6 and the Samsung Galaxy S8 are up there, and very popular brands in their own rights. But what about the B+ brands or the A- brands, the tier 2? Well, we got the HTC U11 that just came out, and also the Essential phone from Andy Rubin, and the newly announced OnePlus 5, which all offer awesome spec packages that are top tier flagships, just maybe not the same brand recognition as LG and Samsung right now. But we purchased one of these devices, and we're going to compare all three of them, and I'll probably tell you guys, yeah, I'm definitely going to tell you guys which one we bought for the channel. So which phone deserves your money, your hard-earned money? We're going to talk about it right now, so roll that intro. So, first thing we're talking about is build quality, and this is unique because each one of these are different. So let's talk about the Essential phone. The Essential phone is made from titanium. It's a titanium frame. It's a combination of different materials, but it mainly is like ceramic and titanium, so it's not supposed to break anytime soon. You're not supposed to get some scratches on it. They were very, very... they let it be known that if you drop your phone, you're not going to have it scratched. So obviously that remains to be seen in everyday use, but that it is supposed to be better than aluminium phones, which goes to the OnePlus 5, because the OnePlus 5 is an aluminium frame, a traditional aluminium phone that we've seen very often. And the one that stands out even more than that is HTC's U11, because that is a liquid glass phone. And I'm guessing all three of these phones are going to be really, really fingerprint attracted. There's going to be a lot of fingerprints on all of these phones regardless. Maybe less on the OnePlus 5, the matte black, but definitely on the HTC U11, you're going to get a lot of fingerprints on that. They're all unibodies. They're all built really well. Or I would think so. We haven't had our hands on any of them yet, but just judging from the build quality and the materials and all the videos we've seen, I do think that they all probably are the premium, highest end quality phones you can probably get out there. It's just a matter of opinion here. Which one do you like better in your hand? Do you like the classic aluminium feel? Do you want to try something different with the titanium stuff, and also with HTC U11's liquid glass? So there's different options for you guys out there, and personally, I'm really excited to see what the Essential phone is like. That form factor is very simple, but at the same time, it just seems interesting with that titanium. Like anytime you put something that sounds different in there, it's unique. The liquid glass is technically different, but I've used so many glass phones now that I can't tell the difference between liquid glass and not liquid glass. It's just the finish, that on the look of the finish. And I kind of like what Samsung has, and also what Honor has with the Honor 8 and 9 in their glass backs. I'm not really that crazy about the liquid glass look of the U11 and the U Ultra, but I do think it looks good, so don't get me wrong. I think it looks good. It's just not my cup of tea. And of course, the OnePlus 5 is just a simple aluminium back that we've seen on hundreds of smartphones. So that is the build aspect. So in order to qualify as a high-end flagship, you have to have the newest processor and the highest end processor. And I'm happy to say all three of these phones do run the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835, which is Qualcomm's highest end processor as of this recording, and also the release dates of these phones. So the difference that distinguishes these three phones in terms of specs, for comparison reasons, the Essential phone has 4 GB of RAM, and the HTC U11 has 6 GB of RAM, while the OnePlus 5 gives you an option of 6 or 8 GB for an added, I think it was like $70. So 8 GB of RAM, that's reaching laptop level. We're getting laptop or PC performance RAM in there. That's pretty crazy. I don't even know if we need 8 GB of RAM. I think 6 is plenty enough. I think 4 is still the standard, and 6 is probably the new standard, but 8 GB of RAM is way future-proofing it. But that's pretty cool that they give you that. I do want to also say that the OnePlus 5, it was announced today, right? And I was reading a lot of articles about it from some big name tech sites. A lot of them were saying like, for $479, it's no longer a flagship killer. It's getting to that range where you can buy an LG G6 or a Samsung Galaxy S8, which are better phones, better quality. And I was just thinking to myself, no, you can't really say that. Maybe about the S8 with the price drop to $550, you can hypothetically make that argument. But the LG G6, it's a great phone in its own right. I've used it extensively the last couple months. I don't own it, and I haven't reviewed it, but I like what I've played with. It's a Snapdragon 821, guys, with 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's not. It's it's $450 right now. You can get it for about $450 from third-party retailers. But for $479, you're getting an A35 and 6 gigabytes of RAM. Even if it's just on a spec sheet, you kind of want that for that price. It's still a flagship killer. It's killing that flagship right there. That's one flagship already killed. And it also is undercutting what HTC is giving you with the U11. U11 is giving you some great specs for $600. And 2 months ago, I did say that the U11 was a great price for the Snapdragon 835. And, you know, the Essential phone is top tier price point. But at the same time, it's giving you some weird packaging. Like, the phone looks really cool. It's giving you some weird build, and it's also gives you some weird features like the whole pin clip-on modification kind of thing. So it's different things, but I do think all three of these phones they're not flagship killers except for the OnePlus 5. That is a legitimate flagship killer, but they're offering you very good value compared to maybe like the G6 when it first launched or the S8 when it first launched. These three phones at launch time offers some really good value. This next part, I'm going to actually have to look at the website because this is a little difficult. There's a lot of weird numbers here. But we're talking about display quality and display sizes. And so the three of them are pretty big screens. We're getting to the point where we're getting really big screens and we're not sacrificing a lot of space. Except for the U11. The U11 does have a little bit thick of bezels, and the OnePlus 5 does have bezels as well. And the Essential phone is basically what you're getting with the G6 and the S8, maybe on steroids, because it just wraps around the camera and you get basically the full screen. But there, let's go with the HTC U11 first because I have that up here. We have a 5.5-inch Quad HD screen. So you do have a Quad HD screen with 16:9 aspect ratio. And let's see. This has the highest pixel density at 534. This is an ultra sharp display. And then the OnePlus 5 also is a 5.5-inch display with a 16:9 aspect ratio. So we're not getting that 18:9 crazy looking aspect ratio stuff that we might be migrating towards. This is still a traditional 16:9 that we're all used to. And we're only getting a 1080p display. It's an AMOLED display. Also, I wanted to note that the U11 is an LCD display. So it's not the same as the OnePlus 5. The OnePlus 5 does use an AMOLED. They've been using an AMOLED display for a couple generations now. And we have the lowest pixel density of the three with 401 pixels per inch. So 1080p, 401 pixels per inch for 5.5 inch. That's what we normally see there in terms of numbers. And then here is the weird one from Essential, the Essential phone. We are looking at a 5.71 inch display, which has basically the same aspect ratio of what we're seeing on the Galaxy S8 and the LG G6. But the resolution is kind of weird too. It is actually 1312 by 2560 pixels for 504 pixels per inch. That's kind of weird. We're slightly under Quad HD. Part of that is probably because it is the longer aspect ratio. But it is a very highly condensed display. So we are getting high resolution. Anything above 500 ppi is really good. So it's going to be really sharp regardless. And so those are the options there in the comparison between the three. And I think the best one is going to be from the Essential phone. The Essential phone is also a IPS LCD screen, so colors should be good. Although I do like AMOLED displays, which the OnePlus 5 does give you. The HTC U11 has the sharpest one, and there's something about the form factor of the Essential phone that really has me attracted to it. It does stand out probably the most compared to the other two. And if you're looking for a wow factor, kind of like what the S8 gave you or what the G6 gave you, the Essential phone probably is the one that wins this area. It still gives you awesome PPI. It still gives you a Quad HD experience. And it just looks cool. It just looks cool. The HTC U11, the front of the phone just looks like it could have been out in 2013. So I'm really excited to see the Essential phone and the display. The Essential phone is 185 grams, and then the HTC U11 is 169 grams, and the OnePlus 5 is the lightest at 153 grams. In terms of thickness, though, all three phones are very similar. They're all very similar in terms of how thin they are. 7.3 millimeters of thickness on the OnePlus 5, which is the thinnest one of the three. And then the U11 is 7.9, so it's basically the same. And then we have 7.8 for the Essential phone. So they're all very, very good in your hand. I don't think any one of these will stand out much in terms of how it feels. It'll all be about the build quality, which we talked about earlier, and how the materials feel in your hand. But basically, they're all weight the same. They weigh about the same. They're about how thick they should be. They're all standard. It's all very standard now. All three phones run Android Nougat right out of the box. That's awesome. We don't know about the updates, though, and which company does updates better. I think HTC will probably be better in terms of that. OnePlus actually did pretty good last year with Nougat, so OnePlus is okay. But Essential phone, it's an unknown entity. It really is. I can't believe I'm saying this, but of the three, I do think the U11, the HTC, is the better brand, and HTC is more established. But OnePlus 5 has come a long way. The OnePlus brand has come a long way since the OnePlus 1, and it's actually respectable. I do have to say, it's become an OEM that is respectable and that you can trust. The Essential phone is a whole other story. We have no idea what's going on there. It's a whole new brand. It's going to take some time for us to get used to them and to understand what their customer service is like, and also what their software support is like. So it's an unknown entity. So you're taking a risk there. HTC has probably the best one. I do think in terms of phone repairs, the program is probably the best thing out there next to Apple. They're probably 1 and 1A in terms of best customer service. I think HTC is just, they're killing it with the program. So I have nothing but good things to say about HTC and the program. And let's see, what else do we need to talk about? Expandable storage. The U11 does give you a micro SD card slot. The OnePlus 5 does not, and also the Essential phone does not. And of course, unique features that might distinguish the phones, right? So for the HTC phone, the U11, you have that new feature, the HTC Touch, the squeezable aspect of it, that when you squeeze it, you can activate basically a shortcut to different apps. You can program it to turn on your camera, flashlight. You can program it to turn on certain apps, basically. And so it's a shortcut mechanism, and I haven't tried it out personally, but I do think it's pretty cool. I don't know if it's something practical for everyday use, but you do have that to distinguish from other things. And then on the Essential phone, you have the magnetic pin on the back for modulation. They showed off a 360 camera. If you purchase it now or pre-order it now, you also get that for $50, which is much cheaper than what they're selling it for. But you do have that modulation aspect that we've seen on the Moto phones, and also last year with the G5. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how practical it will be, but it is there. That 360 camera actually does look pretty good. It's actually probably the smallest 360 camera I've ever seen. And from the demo that Andy Rubin had with Walt Mossberg, it actually looked pretty good. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say that it might be beneficial. OnePlus 5 is basically a standard smartphone with no extra fluff. It's just what you get, what you see, what we expect. There's no extraordinary thing there. It's just smooth performance, smooth build. That's basically what you're buying it for. All three have fingerprint scanners. And yeah, basically that's what distinguishes them. And the U11 does give you all the stuff you do expect from Sense. They stripped down Sense to make it more stock. But you do get a lot of those extra AI stuff. They do give you Alexa this year too. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Google Assistant is on all three of them. It's a standard Android thing now. So, nothing really significant about the three that stands out in terms of core differences. They have their own little fluffs, except for the OnePlus 5. It's just what you get, once again. But the U11 probably wins in this department with the squeezable aspect. That is thinking out of the box, and I'm really excited that HTC is trying something different here. So, in conclusion, which phone do I recommend? Well, I don't think you can go wrong with any of them. I really don't. I think if you're willing to spend money, you can't go wrong with the G6. You can't go wrong with the S8. You can't go wrong with the OnePlus 5, the Essential phone. Any flagship phone right now, you can't go wrong with. I would probably rank the G6 at the bottom of that, though, because of the processor. I know processors and specs don't mean everything. But in terms of maybe Android support, version support, you do want the newer processors because that might give you more future-proofing of it. So I bought the OnePlus 5. We bought the OnePlus 5 for the channel. We bought the OnePlus 3 last year. We've owned every single OnePlus phone except for the X. So we are fans of the OnePlus series of phones because of the flagship killer tagline and the value that they offer. Even though the HTC U11 was I was very close to pulling the trigger. I had it in my cart many times. I probably will get it eventually. The Essential phone I do really want to get to, but it is on pre-order. Who knows when it's going to come out? It's Q3 of 2017 apparently. We don't know when that is. There's no release date. The U11 is available to purchase now. It was pre-orders for a long time. And of course the OnePlus supposedly will be here on Friday for us. So it's really quick turnaround. And I really like how when you announce a phone, you can buy the phone right away, and it'll be at your place within the next week. So props to OnePlus. They've improved a lot since the invitation system. But the reason we got the OnePlus 5, or Lita is going to actually review the OnePlus 5 for us, is because we've used every single OnePlus phone, and except for the X, of course. I've already said that. But the value you get for the phone is still superb. It's no longer $400, but for $480, you're still getting, you're still undercutting the competition in terms of the specs. And if it performs anywhere near what we got with the OnePlus 3, it's going to be a terrific phone. And so that's the surest thing, in my opinion. The U11, it was a close debate between the U11 and the P10 for my daily driver. And I ended up actually getting the P10. I've had my eyes set on the Huawei P10 for the longest time. And this is a great all-around performer, while the U11 was kind of like a new category for HTC. And I thought the phone was a little too big to me. Even though the OnePlus 5 is also a 5.5-inch display. But for my daily driver, I did go with this one instead. And the Essential phone, I mulled over it for a long time. We probably will end up with that phone eventually. But in terms of launch, pre-ordering, and stuff like that, it's an unknown quantity right now. Unknown commodity right now. So we skipped on that one for now. Still really excited about it. And somehow we'll probably end up with it if it gets cheaper too. But yeah, OnePlus 5 is what we ended up with, and I'm very excited to unbox it with Lita on the channel, and I hope you guys tune in for that. Let me know which one you guys are most excited about. What flagship are you guys buying for Android in 2017? And we still have a whole second half to be excited for. So I'm really excited for 2017. It's a great year already. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. And I'll talk to you guys next time.
If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell button below so that you don't miss a single video in the future. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!